call, Senator.
So what can you, like, in terms of, you know, I know I've seen you talk about in an interview about season 4 being a little more brighter than the previous season, you know, but aside from that, what can you describe about the overall tone of this fourth season? Because, you know, it can't be just 100% bright, I guess.
I mean, we're definitely looking, Oliver's in a happy place at the end of season 3, and we're going to start him in the same place in season 4, and I think that's really what's driving the difference in the tone, and we're basically going to allow Oliver and the team to explore what it's like to see Oliver in a really different place. When he came back from the island in season 1, he was a killer, and we had always talked about him having PTSD, and he's basically a soldier coming back from war. And now he's with Felicity, and he's happy, and if you see a brightening of tone or a little more humor in the show, it's really a more reflection of where he is emotionally than anything else.
Why do you think Arrow particularly is so uneasy in the team framework, given that it's a natural graduation in many respects in the comic book world to become an individual hero and then join a group of heroes?
Well, I think, you know, first, you know, it's actually like Oliver's lines from the Legends promo. You know, when I started out, it was just going to be me. And in many ways, I feel like Oliver's journey reflects our journey with the show. You know, we really never intended or envisioned Oliver, you know, birthing a whole movement of superheroes, and now, you know, soon to be 3 shows worth of superheroes, and a large team where, you know, there's an ensemble around him. We always thought it would just be him and Diggle down in the Foundry. So I think Oliver is as surprised as what his crusade engendered as we, the writers, are.
Now, with the creation of all these other shows and bringing in new heroes and new villains, I'm assuming it's going to happen. I know the TV and film universe are separate. Could there be more spin-offs? Could you create your own Justice League? Even and bring them in?
Well, you know, I feel like we kind of have. I mean, with Legends, we're doing, you know, in the history of television, we're doing the first superhero team on television. You know, no one's ever done that, and it's our version, it's the TV equivalent of the Avengers. You know, getting all these characters you've introduced in other avenues and other vehicles, all working together and getting along and not getting along.
You guys dropped a lot of Coast City references last year. Any chance we'll be seeing any characters showing up from that side of town, so to speak?
Go ahead. You're gonna see. You haven't seen the last of Coast City. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm allowed to say. They're gonna kill us all.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Given in the last 2 years, we've seen DC sort of start to align its cinematic and its television universes more into single universes. How much is the internal conversation within this frame, within DC, with other managers of these universes, how much has that conversation changed in the last 2 years in terms of interaction, shared history, shared universe, crossover, those conversations, from a place where you guys all operated very discreetly a while ago?
I'd be happy to tell you if we were privy to those conversations.
Yeah, it's still fairly discreet.
Yeah, you're describing stuff way above our pay grade.
I know
talk about Damien Dark a little bit, how he plays into the new dynamic for season 4.
I cannot. Wendy, however, can.
Yeah, we're very excited about Damien, obviously, and the casting of Neil McDonough. And we're excited because he's a completely new kind of villain we've never seen on the show before. We're going to be exploring elements and powers that are not meta and but still are completely new to the show. And he's menacing and terrifying, and we're bringing him in from the beginning. That's one of the things we're most excited about, is we're starting out with a bang. We're hoping that the premiere feels like a finale, and that we're starting with our big bad coming out of the gates, super scary and super quick.
In that regard, Deathbolt was a character you guys introduced last year in crossover between the 2 series. With the Flash implications, we learned that it didn't tie back to the Flash universe. Will that be explored a little bit more on Arrow's side, or is that separate from where you guys are going?
I don't think I understood the question.
Deathbolt's
Yeah, I know, but he's dead on Flash.
Yes, but it was revealed his powers were not given through the Flash
correct,
universe.
Yes.
But since he debuted first on your show, I didn't know if there was going to be a tie back.
Oh, no, I think that answer's coming on one of the other 2 shows.
What can you? I know you recently announced the actress for Vixen. What can you tease about Arrow's presence in that show in the animated run?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, first of all, Steven is reprising his role, and it's. I'll tell you, the thing that's most fun about Arrow and Vixen is he's there with Barry Allen, the Flash, and usually it's Oliver who's going, I don't believe in metas, this doesn't make any sense, and Barry's like, well, it's science, I totally get it. The dynamic has switched because Vixen's based are magic-based, they're mythical. So that's something Oliver understands. That's something Oliver buys into, and it's the thing that Barry, as a scientist, can't wrap his head around. So their normal dynamic in terms of dealing with someone with powers is completely flipped, and that's a lot of fun.
Last season, we heard a lot about how the Lazarus Pit changes people, but we haven't seen too much of that with Thea. Is that something that we're going to revisit and is going to come back into the fold this season?
The Lazarus Pit will definitely be reappearing in the first few episodes, and that's all I'll say about that.
Well, on the subject of magic, how much will you explore magic now because of Vixen and now because of the Lazarus? But how much will you? Because I know you said in some interview about that there were talks about maybe Constantine being on the show. But since if we just put that ship aside, how much will magic be explored in this very groundbreaking role that you set up?
A lot. I mean, it's something we haven't done on the show before, and we're really excited about it. And it seems to be just in the natural fabric of where we've been going with the other shows, like with Vixen. And it isn't meta, which I think is important as well. It keeps it in the world of Arrow, but allows us to explore powers and threats and scary things without going to the wells we've been to before.
Will the League of Assassins be part of the season as well?
Absolutely, not as obviously as big as they were in season 3, but Damien obviously was a member of the League, and a lot of that mythology will play in his backstory. And Malcolm will still be out there and still be a threat, or an ally, depending on where Oliver is and vis-a-vis Damien. And also, he'll have some interesting stories for Nissa. Really like where we left Nissa and Malcolm in conflict in season 3, and we'll be exploring that as well.